So, we talked about a belief system. So you're saying that people should always think positive, and once you think positive, everything is possible. Is that what I'm getting? Is it accurate? Once you think positively, and don't put any limits on your mind, you can achieve things that weren't possible or wasn't achieved before. Am I on the right track?
You're on the right track, but I would say that there's two parts to the equation. Once again, we said before it was the thoughts and the feelings. I actually have some manifestation equations in the back of the book, but one of the equations was the thoughts and the feelings. So the positive thoughts alone is not enough because, like we said, we gave the example of somebody could be affirming something,
The subconscious mind.
but their subconscious mind is actually contradicting. And when we say subconscious, we talk about a belief. So you may want something on a conscious level, but there's something holding you back. There's something contradicting those positive thoughts in your subconscious mind, something deep within you that you may have to figure out what that block is, and it's subconscious, so it's a little harder to figure out. And we said that earlier that, if there's a contradiction between your conscious mind, which is your positive thoughts, and your subconscious mind, which is the storehouse of your beliefs, your subconscious mind is gonna win out because 90% of the time you're operating off of your subconscious mind. You're not even, you think you're thinking, but you're actually just reacting.
Okay, so okay, I get it. So essentially, if you want to put it in another way, it's like the yin and the yang, or the positive and the negative. Because whatever the human mind thinks of, there's always a positive and a negative. Like the negative could be, like you say, but
Right.
would be the
Or
negative.
you want something, but you don't have it right now.
So it's the positive and the negative right there.
Right.
What do you think about, I mean, it is philosophical, but the light bulb, we're looking at a light, right? But
Right.
if it's too positive, it won't shine, right?
What do you mean?
Negative, positive,
The filament,
Too positive.
Right. Too positive can make the light bulb shine. It has to be the positive energy and the negative energy come together.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your view on that?
Yeah, my view is like we have to keep the energy flowing. One of the things I say in the book is that energy is always circulating, and we cut off that energy in different ways. Like we talk about, the doubt, the fear, the worry will cut off the energy. But you could call it positive and negative, yin and yang. Like I was saying, your positive mind, your conscious mind, and your conscious mind. Your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. You could think of it as a masculine mind and a feminine mind. They have to be working in concert. But there are situations, I think maybe you talking about maybe like if you're a talker, you're going to attract a listener, a good listener, right? If you're a giver, somebody else has to be a receiver. So the energy has to be flowing. So a lot of times, let's say you're a giver, you also have to learn how to receive. So that could be the yin and the yang, right? Some people are good at giving, but they don't know how to receive. And some people are good at receiving, but they don't know how to give. But either one, if you're good at one and not the other, you're cutting off the flow of energy. So if we're talking about the energy of abundance, you need to be good at both. You need to learn how to give, and you need to learn how to receive to keep that energy flowing. You want the energy to keep flowing. You don't want to cut off that energy. If you're only a giver, eventually what happens? You get burnt out, your energy gets depleted because you're always giving. You have to learn how to give to yourself. And if you're always taking and receiving, then eventually you're going to exhaust that resource if you're not putting back in, like if you're a farmer, you got to put back into the earth, right? You can't just you can't keep on taking and depleting the soil without putting back into the soil. So you have to have both. You have to be both. I think that's is that along the lines of what you're talking about?
Right. So it's the balance. So
Balance, yes.
balance. There always should be a balance.
There should be a balance, yes. You want to keep the energy flowing.
Yes.
There has to be an exchange. You know, there's always an exchange of energy. You want to keep that energy flowing.
Okay. I didn't read the book, but based on the discussion, that's what I got. But you explained it properly. You explained what you wrote,
Right.
and so it was easy for me to see that point of view.
Okay, yes.
All right, good question, brother. Very good. So here we go.
Oh, I just want another thing to add on to that it's a common saying that people say, that they say that opposites attract. But what I'm saying is that we attract things that are of the same essence of us, So I disagree with that. You may see somebody who's the example of somebody who's a big talker and then somebody who's quiet. They're both necessary for a conversation. So they both are desiring the same thing. It may look differently, but they're attracting each other. But they're not actually opposing each other. They're complementary. So they're complements to each other. They're not opposites or opposing each other.
Well said. Right.
Same thing with the yin and the yang, or the male and the female. They're complementary. They're not opposites to each other. They don't oppose each other.
Okay, well said.
You need both. That balance.
Once again, this is Global Mix, the Circle of Life, and we're interviewing Yomi Love. He's the author of the book Cosmic Conscious Creators. So in this book, page 27, and I when I read this, I was like, really? And it says most people, and you said most people, that I'm saying we have billions and billions of people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Most people tend to attract the same type of people and circumstances into their life from day to day because they are slow to change their life, that their belief. So you are saying that most people are slow to change their belief. Why is that? And why do you feel it's that way?
Yeah, most people are living the same life day to day because most people, as they get older, they actually become less open to new ideas. So they become more stuck in their ways of thinking. And we said your way of thinking, your pattern of thinking, your consciousness determines your reality. So yesterday looks like today, and today looks like tomorrow. If you're not changing your ideas, if you're not open to new ideas, if you're not willing to shift your paradigm, most of us, a paradigm or your consciousness is something we take for granted. We're not even conscious of it. So how many people are actually conscious of what they're thinking on a day-to-day business? How many people are actually open to new ideas and looking at things from different perspectives? A lot of times we become less open as we become older. We become more stuck in our ways. And so if we're stuck in our ways and we're stuck in the ways of thinking, the ways of thought, we're stuck in a certain consciousness, a certain belief system, and that's what we're producing day to day. So when we're younger, we're much more open to new ideas, and it's those ideas and, enlarging our paradigm, enlarging our consciousness that actually helps us to grow. But most people aren't open to that. Most people become defensive, and most people become, more rigid as they get older. And so their ideas, they become stuck in a certain way of thinking, a certain pattern, and then it becomes their reality. What you start to think about, you start to see it, and then it reifies itself. Then it mirrors in your reality, and then you take it as true.
Wow, powerful. So this is a question to the listening audience. In the book, or Brother Yomilo asks a question: what are you currently calling to yourself from within? What are you currently calling to yourself from within, Brother Blue? What are you calling to yourself right now from within? Is there anything from within that you call it? What are you currently calling to yourself from within?
Okay. Well, my view is the yin and the yang, positive and the negative. You know, I'm calling positivity,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, I know there's another side to it at the same time. So that it's not a conflict. It's just an understanding that I have within myself that there's always the other side. There's always both sides. The human mind, maybe you can, but the human mind is that way. If you were created that way, or we part of that journey, but there's always, you know, as they say, second guess. You cross in the street, there's also positive and negative based on the cars coming, so it's to me, it's a constant thing. So, but I can really, in some situations, the negative is the positive, if you get what I'm saying. If you get into a certain situation, the defense, you know, the defense to a situation can take on a form of positivity or negativity. You get where I'm coming from? Your reaction to something can be negative but also positive, like defending yourself. You're gonna get mobbed, right? That's a negative. Your reaction to it is also a negative, but it's it's also a positive because you're saving yourself from harm.
But then it doesn't. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying every action, there's a reaction. You throw a pebble in a pool of water, you have a circle of motion. So everything has a reaction. So it's hard to really put a definitive on things like that. To me it's a valid point, very valid, but it's also something that's also can be very, you know, theological, in a way, because you can debate it for a million years, and both can, not a negative, definitive of being negative or positive. So it's something that I can't really, I don't have the answer.
Okay. All right. So we want to find out if we have any of the listening audience, anyone, Brian, saying anything or asking any question. What are you currently calling yourself from within? Nothing yet?
Not yet. 917-533-9178. 917-533-9178. Call in number.
Okay, so another thing here, and we are talking about belief. So at the beginning I mentioned that people might ask, Fuchi, this book is on cosmic conscious creators, and what does that have to do with Celtic healing? The brother explained it, your thoughts, and he further illustrated something he mentioned on page 33, where there's just a belief present that something is healing you. Just a belief, it will. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, this is called the placebo effect, right? So just the belief that something is healing for you has been shown to be just as effective as medicine or treatment. It shows that the greatest factor in your healing is your mind, greater than whatever whatever you're taking externally.
Right.
is not as powerful as what's going on inside you mentally. So, you know, just that belief, that trust that you have in an authority figure, you know, if it's the doctor or whoever you believe in, that is greater than anything we can do for you physically, as within, so without. So, you know, just bringing it back to health, you know, just having this conscious creator or this creator consciousness, it impacts every part of your life. So this deals with everything. You can apply these lessons to anything. You know, Brother Blue talked about it. You know, it's debatable. I want to challenge everybody, you know, to pick up the book. There are, you know, the first part of the book is, you know, just given theory, but then I actually give some equations because I was a math teacher. I am a mathematician, so I give actual manifestation equations on the second part of the book. So I challenge anybody who disagrees or feel it is debatable that, you know, just go through the book, pick up the book, and try the manifestation equations for yourself. You know, that show and proof. That's how I grew up. That's how I was taught. You know, so it's not just theory. It's not just talking about.
Could you give us? I don't know if the format you have it. Is there an example you could give us from the book, as that is a manifestation equation?
Well, one of the things that I'm going to say that is a manifestation, I don't know if you want to call it equation, that I know and I have been taught as a holistic practitioner. And we are going back to why I'm saying that this book is all about also your health consciousness, because this is what the brother wrote. Certain diseases have been traced to specific negative emotion, factual. Anger awakens the essential function of the liver. Grief awakens lung health. Worry breaks down the stomach, and healthy gut flora and digestion. That's what worry does. Stress weakens the heart and the brain. Fear can deteriorate the kidneys. On the other hand, positive emotion and vibration are healing to the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Right.
And they have proven that when you have negative thoughts, sometimes they would say your heart suffers. And for women, I always say when they come to me, certain things affect our reproductive organs, and certain have an affinity to it and it can heal it. But again, you have to believe that it can be done. And that connection is very good. That's what I really love, because when people read the book, if you are angry all the time and then you have a liver condition, don't just think that drinking alcohol is one of the major reasons as to why you have a liver condition. There are people now, we're talking about elevated liver enzyme that is happening to non-alcoholic. It could be something about, you know, being angry.
Emotions.
Emotions. Right. So, yeah. So this book is very much, when I say only $11, when I heard $11, I was like, wait a minute. I thought this was like, you know, $25 or $30.
Show the book, sisters.
The book, I really couldn't put it down. And then people say, oh, sister, so you said you read a book. I could read a book that I like in a day or two. So I got it in the evening and I started reading it. I couldn't put it down, and the following day I finished the book. It's easy. He explains it well. It's not complicated at all, and it has a lot of information. And like I said, we mentioned the part of negativity, and then he mentioned positiveness. Laughter is one of the best medicine. Her bodily expression originates from an emotional or spiritual calling forth of energy. And that's what I believe. I always say laughter, very healing. When you laugh, you feel good.
Yeah.
You really, really feel good. Sorry.
Yes, yes. I'm just saying that with the West, medicinal people in the West, usually, what we might call it, deal with the physical alone, you know, and they don't deal with the mental. So, you know, you're touching on the everything, because it's not just never physical only spiritual only or mental. It's all together, you know. So, you know, that is certainly true. And blood pressure, you know, you mentioned in the book,
Yes.
you know, if you get a bad news and you can't handle it, you know, and you have a pressure problem,
Right.
you know, then that's serious, right?
Right.
You know, I definitely, you know, agree with the fact that, you know, all three goes together. It's not just, you know, you go to the doctor and they give you something and that alone is going to solve the problem. And I never saw it that way. I see that it's your mental approach also and your spiritual approach, you know, and with whatever they give you, if that helps, you know,
Right,
then,
right.
you know.
Because the brother mentioned also that fear is the lowest frequency of your state of consciousness, and it's real. Because sometimes you feel afraid, your body just go out of whack. You feel it from the core of your body that you know. So we are really really so thankful and grateful for this book. Like I said, you should just really get a copy. There's so many things, and I underline it because when the brothers mentioned about fear being the lowest state of mind frequency, and then I said, all right, let me go into this book some more. And he mentioned disease. What does disease mean? I heard it before. Lack of ease and emotional energy. So, brother, go into what you think disease is. Tell us about disease because we're talking about health and wellness. And when people are not well, they're sick, right?
Yeah. So
They are ill ease.
Tell us what does disease mean to you?
yeah, disease. If we break down the word disease, is dis-ease, and we said everything is energy, so energy has to flow, right? So if we have a dis-ease, the energy is not flowing easily. There's some kind of blockage in your body, and that could be a physical blockage, that could be a mental blockage, that could be a spiritual blockage, that could be a emotional blockage. Like we said that, you know, if we trace back every dis-ease, we can trace it back to an emotion. Either your emotions are, once again, your emotions are either enlivening you or enervating you, right? So it's either helping that energy to flow through your body more easily, or it's slowing down that energy that is flowing in your body. So once we have a dis-ease, that's a symptom. That's a symptom of some kind of blockage going on in your body, which started, you know, either on a spiritual, mental, emotional level, and now, you know, they say once something shows up physically, it was already in the process, you know, weeks ahead of time. It first manifested as an emotion before it ever became physical. So that's just another example of, you know, everything is first on that invisible plane before it comes to manifest on the physical plane. So yeah, disease is a blockage basically. So it could be, you know, it shows up as a physical blockage, but it was first, you know, an emotional blockage, a mental blockage, a spiritual blockage, you know. So
Well said, Rasby. I rudely interrupted you when you were starting to make the connection between mathematical what, Rasby? Go ahead, Alex.
No, Father Yomi says toward the end of the book, he has some mathematical equations, and he was just asking if he could relate one of those equations to us.
Yeah, one of the, we mentioned a couple of them. One of the equations was thought plus feeling. You know, once again, it's not the thought alone that is going to manifest for you. It is the thought plus the feeling. You know, once you're, like we said, the conscious mind and the subconscious, that's another equation. They have to be in agreement with each other. You know, it's not just the conscious mind, but your conscious mind and your subconscious mind have to be aligned. They have to be working together. They can't be in contradiction with each other. Another one is desire minus resistance, right? You can desire something. Your desire can be so strong that it can manifest, but you know that resistance is like you have gas in the car, but you're pumping on the brakes. So you want to let go of the resistance. That's another way to enhance the desire. Like we talked about the positive and the negative. The resistance would be the negative. The desire would be the positive. So yes, you can increase the positive. You can increase your desire, but you can also lower your resistance. So you find different ways. Like I said, one way to lower the resistance is to find something that you feel is achievable. Go for that first, and then once you prove to yourself that that desire is achievable, then you can stretch yourself.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely.
I've
Absolutely.
been learning you.
I know we're going to take a break.
Yes,
I know
yes.
Rasley's going to say take a break, but before we take a break, it's just something I'm just going to not say what the answer. I want you to give the answer. I don't know if Brian is going to take a break when I when I read this, because I'm not going to give him the answer.
Go
yet,
ahead,
but I know
Sister
it.
Bush.
It says on page 45, if there is a problem that seems like it cannot be solved, then what do you do? I know it because it's in the book. So, Brian, you want to leave people to the answer, or you want Brother Yomi to go into if there's a problem that sees that it cannot be solved, but we all have been there, it seems like it cannot be solved, then what's your next step? What do you do? Do we take a break or let him go into it?